So, looks like everybody is behaving in the chat right now. So, give you some awesome random facts right now. So, our wonderful admin Bane just said everybody is behaving except our GNU, who is behaving like a hooligan. And so now you know where the word hooligan comes from, because a couple of 100 years ago in Scotland there was a family called the Hooligans. And then when they were going into town, into a tavern, they were just like rampaging, they were vandalizing, they were destroying stuff, they didn't pay for their meals and drinks, and that's why people started to say, oh, look at the hooligans, they coming in here and just doing, they are in here for some trouble. Now you are a little bit smarter, but let's go back to game number 3. For the quarterfinals number 3, it is Beasty against GoOdy here on cross positions. Shadow Temple, Beasty spawning as the yellow Zerg player at the 12 o'clock, as the purple Terran. We have GoOdy at the 6 o'clock. So it is a ZVT once again here, and GoOdy was able to take the first game with a hidden bunker and some Reapers, and the second game Beasty was spotting a command center first, so his hatchery first evolved into a double hatchery first, and then he was going for triple baneling on one triple baneling attack hatchery style, and now he's even trying to steal the gas, but I don't think this should be too big of a problem. The only problem this could be is that if GoOdy decides to go for some Reapers anytime soon, this extractor will stay alive for quite a bit. So we see Beasty going for the constant extractor stealing here. Of course you need at least 3 Marines to deal with the extractor properly. There we see the hatchery is being built. Beasty's got his overload to go for some scouting to see if any bunkers are being made. So now this extractor is finished, started to mine the gas already. The pool will be finished in the next 15 seconds, and the follow-up play by GoOdy will be the factory. Now the Marines took out the extractor which was built here, and it's not too big of a deal because he just started with the factory, so okie dokie. Yeah, Beasty going for the small mana transfer. He knows what's going on in that regard. We see Queen coming up at the natural, coming up in the main, going for just in case spine crawler, so to say, and looks like GoOdy wants to go for some Marine Hellion Medivac action, so he will elevate his units up here on the high ground, most likely the Marines at first, having the Hellions on the low ground. And what does Beasty need to do? He needs to just get a bunch of units and prevent this from happening. So now we see some Hellion moving out. Beasty knows about the Hellion, so he knows about the factory. He knows it is 1 and not 2 Hellions, so he knows it is no reacted Hellions. It could very well be this elevator play I was talking about, but it also could be a Blue Flame Hellion attack pretty soon here. So now Beasty lost all of his units, the 3 Zerglings here, immediately going for a second Spine Crawler, putting up a Roach Drone as well, but he thinks he's not getting attacked, and that's why he decided to go for 6 more drones. Now GoOdy on the other hand, he is getting this Medivac, he's just getting the Marines and the Hellions I was talking about, so he indeed wants to go for this elevator play, and I mean, I already see him win games with this kind of play style, just microing your units the right way and not be too aggressive about it. So Beasty knows about those Hellions. Does he know about the Medivac as well? Where's the Medivac? Here it is getting dropped Beasty does have 4 roaches in production. He's rearranging the spine crawler, but because of no creep connection between the main and the natural, this spine crawler takes a while. Now here are the Marines, here are the Hellions. Roaches, of course, are very good units to deal with those kinds of units. And 4 roaches, it is in total now. The Queen is helping out a little bit as well. He's focusing down the Hellions, because as soon as the Hellions are down, he make use of his Zerglings way more. And now here are the drones, the roaches getting attacked. Now all the Hellions are dead. Now it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marines. But remember, a Medivac has quite a good ability to heal stuff. And now Beasty is losing most likely his Overlord. No, not just yet, because in the last second more roaches and Zerglings popped out, and Beasty actually did a nice job defending this. And now he thinks, okay, the follow-up play will be some cloaked banshees. That's why he's going for the spore in the main and in the natural as well. But no, but he's actually pretty right about this, because there we see the banshee in production by GoOdy, not without the cloak. He's going for it without the cloak, but his late game follow-up play most likely might be the Marine and the tank. Now this orbital just finished for GoOdy. Is he going to lift it up and land it here, or is he going to just go for an additional amount of SCVs? At the moment he's not doing anything, queuing up the SCVs like a boss as well. And there we see double active creep tumor spread. This Banshee, sorry, was not showing to you right away, just killed some Zerglings but didn't do too much damage. All the drones are still in a healthy population here. I mean, he killed 5 drones in total, which is not too much in terms of units lost. BC is still behind quite a bit, because GoOdy was way more cost effective, but in terms of harvesters it is 35-34, so both guys are pretty even in that regard. So now Beasty trying to repel at least this injured Banshee here, who is currently sitting on 8 kills. But the second Banshee is still full HP. Now we see double armory coming up for GoOdy, so let's prepare ourselves for some factories, and indeed here they come. So Beasty now taking out the rocks and the gold. Of course, when you can surround rocks, they die pretty fast. The Zergling evens, even though the Zerglings do 5 damage minus 3, so each time they attack they only deal 2 damage, so it's 40% of the original 100%, so 60% less damage actually. And we see a spire being built by Beasty, and he does not want his spire to get taken out. That's why he's going for the most secure location to build the spire. So Banshee still flying around, and Beasty having 3 queens out. 3 queens of course allows him to go for some additional creep spreading. Here's a Marine drop. Marines get lifted up right away. Now it's up to the Queen to repel the Banshee here. And does GoOdy know about the spire? Yes, he does know about the spire. So he will be able to prepare accordingly, and by prepare accordingly I mean Thor's, and Thor is already in production. Beasty knows about this, a mass factory play coming up. He knows about the reactor, he knows about the tech lab, so he's completely aware of what's going on. And what did he decide to do? Oh, I better build 16 more drones. So 16 more drones just popped out. Here's some, and he's already going for the long range mining and going for the extracts. And this is what you should do. Just instead of oversaturating a base, go for long distance mining. It's the more economical thing to do. So now Beasty currently sitting on a 7th supply lead. GoOdy here, having siege tanks, having missile turrets, having banshees, and sitting on 2 bases. So the vulnerable spot for GoOdy's base will be this expansion here at the corner, or at the gold pretty soon, because of the missing amounts of bunkers and missile turrets. So it might be able to make something happening there in that regard with some mutas. So we have 4 mutas on the field, actually 6 mutas on the field, 3 more in production. Just started the +1, even going for the Overlord speed upgrade, doing actually a good job at spreading the love here all over the place. Let's take a look at the APM of both players. GoOdy at the typical 90, 95, Beasty sitting on 100 and 100, 200 actually in average. now the Mutas, of course, having no problems cleaning up with those two Banshees. And now it's time for him to do some damage. But take a look, the Thor's waiting, the missile turret's waiting. Even though this missile turret and the SCV get taken out, here's the Thor already doing some damage. Another SCV gets taken out, third SCV gets taken out as well. Now he's trying to do some damage. And take a look at how well he controls his Mutas. He's not clumping up too much, so the Thors will not be able to do too much damage. Supply depot is burning down. Let's check this in a minute or so. Once again, now the Marines for GoOdy took out the rocks. He's landing this orbital, not the planetary here, on the low ground. The creep spread continues for Beastyqt right now, and the supply is currently looking in the favor of GoOdy, sitting on 21 more supply, having the pathogen glands. Research started and going for the +2 armor, going for the +1 attack. We see the +1 Mutas. Now the Mutas trying to do some damage in here, but the Thors already waiting, even 3 Thors. And if Beastyqt, who's by the way going for the expansion here in the top left, just got 9 more drones finished. Take a look at all those drones going for some long distance mining here already, nearly fully saturated. He actually fully saturated the gold, but 2 drones. Let's take a look at the income tab once again. It is 78 drones over 67 SCVs, by the way. In terms of mineral income, GoOdy is only slightly ahead. The Mutas continue to try to do some damage. Of course, Zerglings will not be able to take those rocks out because the Thors will just simply not allow them to. And GoOdy is, by the way, thanks to his double armor replay, going for the +2/+2, having it halfway finished, adding 2 more factories. And take a look, this base, besides from this one Tor, is actually pretty vulnerable because GoOdy was not, he was repairing the supply depot, by the way, and he was not rebuilding his missile turrets here, so he's still in a good position in that regard. And we see 16 roaches, 5 infestors, the roach speed, the +1 for the Zerglings about to finish, and his hive is finished as well. But this is not a hive. This is not a hive. This is not a hive as well, but this is a hive already, because we see a Greater Spire being morphed in. Greater Spire, one of the most funkiest looking buildings in the whole game. Meanwhile, Beastyqt expanding to the 3 o'clock, to the 9 o'clock natural, and to the 9 o'clock main as well. GoOdy tried to move over here with some blue flamers, or with some blue flamers, trying to make something happen, but the roaches and the Mutas denying this with 0 problems at all. And take a look at this wonderful creep spread actually. And actually, this is the first time I see Beastyqt play Zerg on a serious basis in a tournament where it actually is able to win money and stuff like this. And he's doing a brilliant job at just spreading the love, because with all this creep spread, he's aware of those blue flamers moving in. He has enough time to react accordingly. And looks like Mr. Pink is dropping out of the game once again. And let's just hope that I won't drop out of the game, because I'm not really in the mood, because I want to see how this game turns out in the end. I want to see how Pink and how Beastyqt and GoOdy are doing. So looks like GNU just went for an interesting quote from Idra, who apparently, who was casting the NASL. He said, GoOdy cheeses in the beginning and then doesn't attack for the next 30 minutes. Pretty funny quote. And take a look, it is a couple of siege tanks and it's only Thors, and Mars Zerglings actually will be really good at this, against this army composition. Mars Mutas will be good against this army composition as well. Beastyqt having 21 roaches, going for some fungals on the units. Okay, you can do this, especially here the SCVs repairing it, or the Marines standing next to it. Another fungal growth being casted, more fungals laid down. There we see the roaches just storming in from every possible location. The Broodlords helping out in the back as well, and looks like Beasty is just a maxed out Zerg player destroying everything in his path. He's got so many bases up, he's got the tier 3 take up already and just dealt with it perfectly. And GoOdy is back on 3 bases. Meanwhile, Beasty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. Creep spread on 2/3 of the map, and he is nearly maxed out. He's got quite a lot of minerals and gas just left. Let me take a look. How many lava does he have available? 16 right now, so he will be able to just go for some more distraction action in terms of just build more stuff. And now he's going even for the ultraless cavern, wants to make something happen in that regard. The +3 armor is finished pretty soon. Now he takes out the rocks. The orbital just finished and landed here at the gold. GoOdy, of course, with 6 mules on the gold, is able to make quite a bit happen here with the income tab, and even the income tab is showing us that he is way ahead. Now some more Thors waiting here. What is GoOdy going and what is Beasty going to do? He is attacking those head on. Might not be the smartest choice. He will most likely use all of his roaches, but he takes out a crucial amount of Thors. 3 Thors are already down. The tank in the back gets taken out as well, and looks like Beasty, actually with his superior upgrades, is living long enough with his roaches to take out the roaches as well. This Broodlord in the back helping out a little bit too, and now with his last Thor moving in, and GoOdy with the repair on his Thors and the +3 attack and armor just kicking in, was barely able to hold this attack off. And Beasty, I mean, he sacrificed a lot of units and he's down to 100 supply. He needs to make something happen, and maybe he just overcommitted a little bit too much to the unit production, just intercepting those blue flamers here. Good job by him. We see him moving over there with a couple of overloads, and now he's not at 100 supply. Now he's got 8 ultralists in production. He will be on 166 supply compared to the 139. Some more Zerglings streaming in, trying to take out more command centers which getting produced, and blue flamers moving in, trying to take out the remaining Zerglings, but the Zerglings will not go down without at least taking out actually 6, 7 SCVs here. And GoOdy, of course, needs to watch out because Beastyqt currently is all over the place. He needs to station some units here, he needs to have some units here in the back as well, in order not to fall victim to any more harassment style. But the ultralists should pop out any second now. Here they go, and with the +3/+3 and the chitinous plating upgrade as well, he's not looking too good. On the other hand, GoOdy is doing a brilliant job with his Vikings, trying to take out and actually taking out overlords which are being built all over the place. But now more roaches, more Zerglings coming in here for Beasty. The +3 attack just finished, going for the +2 for the flyer units. So the Broodlords, the Corruptors and the Muters will do more damage. Adrenal Glands +1 ranged attack coming up for Beasty. Meanwhile, GoOdy about to finish with his command center here next to the gold, getting more Thors, getting more tanks, getting more Hellions. And Beasty, when is he going to move out with his forces? I mean, he's just getting more and more stuff, minerals. He's got enough money invested into tech, so the only money he can invest right now is into even more units. But too many Thors, too many siege tanks. Wise choice by Beasty to one away, maybe to recuperate a little bit. He is currently supply blocked at 6 more OVs in production. Looks like Beasty is in a little bit of trouble, using a lot of units here to the +3 Thors and siege tanks, of course. All those units do insane amounts of damage against those armored units. And now Beasty decided, okie dokie, no time for any armored units anymore. Let's go light with the +3 Adrenal Glands. Zerglings finished in 15 seconds. He should be able just to make something happening, because he just went for 106 Zerglings. So having 106 Zerglings on the field right now is what he's having. Now he is running in, the adrenal glands just finished, and of course the Zerglings will force a lot of friendly fire, but because of the fact that the siege tanks just did too much damage, you simply, one simply does not walk into mortar, and one simply does not run into 7 plus 3 siege tanks by GoOdy with just Zerglings. But now the follow-up play is already at hand here by Beastyqt, which is the 23 Mutalisks right now, plus 2 ranged attack coming off now. Beastyqt is really playing single-player mode here with GoOdy having different waves. The first wave was the harassment here, the second wave was the Ultralist, the third wave was the Masked Zerglings, and wave number 4 will be the 24 Mutalisks with the plus 2 attack, so we see some more Vikings trying to take out more Overlords, so Beastyqt will not lose any more Overlords anymore. He will just make something happening. And now it's up to him to do as much damage as possible with his 21 Mutas he's got in this control group. But it looks like he might be able to face GoOdy head on. He's got 6 Thoros and 4 missile turrets. If I would be Beastyqt, I would just go for the expansion and take a look what he is doing right now. Here, those missile turrets are all still not finished, so it looks like this orbital command is about to go down, especially with the plus 2 attack, taking a lot of damage. Now, is he going to move on, or is he going to take out all of those SCVs building the missile turrets? Yes, the missile turrets will go down. Now here comes the Thoros in. Beastyqt should just avoid the Thoros with their immobile 1.88 movement speed, and this is exactly what it's doing, allowing him to just mine more stuff, get up more minerals. He's having 19 more mutas in production, getting the plus 3 ranged attack. Smart move, by the way, by GoOdy to go for the plus 3 ranged attack here, going for more command centers. Of course, he's mined out pretty soon at the gold, pretty soon at the corner as well, so he needs to make something happening. But with the 19 more mutas out, I think, and with all those, 12 freaking infestors and way more energy than he needs actually, he actually will be able to just fungal all over the place. But take a look at the amount of siege tanks. GoOdy having 19 siege tanks. Here are the mutas getting magic box to take out as many Thors as possible, even some Euro-parasited Thors in the mix. Mass fungal on the Hellions. How many mutas does he still have left? And looks like he's using nearly all of his mutas. Got 45, 60, 80 more Zerglings in production now. One last Thor is still alive, but there we see 2 more Thors moving in. Looks like this magic boxing micro was not the best. He actually could have done more damage with his 40 Zerglings, but looks like now the metal still survives for GoOdy, and GoOdy might be able to take this, because now it is just a mean grinder for all of those remaining Zerglings streaming in here. The hatchery is going down at the 9 o'clock natural. Now the 9 o'clock main will go down as well, and looks like Beastyqt is going for a desperation counter-attack. I mean, he knows GoOdy does not have any more minerals left, but GoOdy still has the army left, and the army supply compared to Beastyqt is looking really good. 147 compared to the 12 for Beastyqt, and looks like this game is over. But I mean, I am still impressed by Beastyqt. This was actually the first time I saw him play a serious 1v1 game as a Zerg player, and he showed us some nice macro play here, even though there were some minor flaws in it. I'm still actually quite impressed. But I mean, props to GoOdy after losing the second game to a Baneling, but still playing it safe, still playing it GoOdy style, and still playing it successful. So GoOdy will advance to the semi-finals. We should see a nice, interesting comment, or even a GG here by Beastyqt pretty soon, and this will be GoOdy in the semi-finals. I'm not sure who we will be playing against. One last attempt of Beastyqt to take out the remaining Thors. But the infestors with a neural parasite, of course, will get taken out so fast. And this is the good thing about the Thors with a plus 3 armor. They have 4 armor in total, and 4 armor just simply does not allow this mutas to do too much damage, and it makes the Thors quite a resilient unit. GG is called, and GoOdy wins 2-1 over Beastyqt in a CVT series. Pretty interesting. And yeah, so GoOdy is in the semifinals. Congratulations to him.